Financing your next billion gain insights into successful engagements with venture capitalists and investors. Get ahead of industry trends, hear from industry leaders, influencers, founders, policymakers, and governments.
Well, hello there. And here we are again at the United Nations CSW 66, and we are at the Women Leading Change Now. We're having our parallel event along with the United Nations, and we are talking this year on climate change. That's our issue, that's our topic, how it addresses everyone from a neighborhood to a country, to our planet. Today, I am talking with a wonderful woman. She has served for many years. She has served the community from corporate to her own business, now to a nonprofit, and she focuses on the youth. And I'm going to be introducing you to Mrs. Betty Mack Smith. She's the Executive Director of Enrichment in Canton, Ohio, and she's going to give us some insights on what's happening in Ohio and how that actually plays out across the world. Because as we know, when you drop a single pebble on the ocean, it not only stays there or affects you, it can affect the world around you. So we're going to, with that, I'm going to introduce you to Miss Betty Smith and let her take it from there.
Thank you, Yvonne, and I really appreciate you having me on to share whatever I can, perhaps to spark something in someone else, and also maybe to motivate and inspire. I love working with young people. This is my mission. This is my calling. And I've really been working with young people, I would say most of my life, 82 years now, 82 years in May. And God has really been good to me and given me the opportunity to work with our youth, because sometimes youth think that their voices don't matter. Sometimes they feel like they have nothing to offer. And at Enrichment, we let them know that you do matter, that your voice means a lot and can inspire others, can uplift others, and in not only your peers, but sometimes our youth can help their parents. Some of the youth that I work with come from homes that are not stable, somewhat a little dysfunctional, but I think we have dysfunction in all homes. And I think that we need to let our youth know how much we love them. A lot of time, young people don't think we care about them. So it's important that you embrace someone around you, the youth. Well, we always say the youth are tomorrow. No, the youth are today. It's what we put in them to inspire them to do something that will help tomorrow, but we have to put it in them now. We have to let them know that they have worth, and they make a difference in the lives of everybody that they're around. I don't think there's anything such as a bad youth, a bad person. I think there's good in everyone. God created us equal, and I think we just have to bring out the goodness that's in our young people to let them know that they can make a difference in the world. Even while they're young, I always tell them that. I have a 10-year-old in my group, and he brought me a drawing, and it was architectural structure. And it was so well done. I took it to an architect friend of mine, and I said, look at this. This young person has talent. And he said, what college does he attend? And I said, college? He's 10 years old. Well, this architect was blown away. He said, oh my goodness, he's gifted. He's a genius. So from there, we were able to put him in a school that is helping him to continue with his artwork, continue to motivate and inspire him. And a lot of times when young people are gifted like that, they're a little antsy. They don't know how to function well in a regular classroom. And so sometimes teachers count them out and say they're a problem, or, they're ADHD or something like that. And then they want to medicate, and they don't realize the gifts that these kids have. And we need to look for these gifts, and then we need to embrace them and to send them on to someone that can help them further what they have. This is what we do at Enrichment. We look for the gift in the child. And you know, I shouldn't even say the gift, because I think everyone has some kind of something inside that we could call a gift. But there's something special inside that they need to express. And we have to help them express that. Let's not push our young people away, but let's embrace them. You know, there's so many things going on in the world today, in the country, in the world, in the cities, so much violence. There's so many killings, and we just had so many here recently in Canton. Police officers shooting, and the race thing always comes up. And we have to shield and protect our children from this as well, and to let them know that there's no. Yes, there are bad things going on in the world, but we're living in last days. If I can just kind of go biblical a little bit. And so things that happen now, and I say to young people, these are the things that are supposed to happen, but maybe there's something we can do to make a change, make a difference, to make it a little bit better, make it a little more comfortable. But these are things that in the Bible says they're going to happen when we're in the last days. The disasters that are going on all over the world, the floods and the fires and everything. We haven't had these before. And so
it's interesting. It's interesting, Betty. I talk with so many people, and they each say the same thing. Be they biblical, non-biblical, scholars or believers or what have you.
Yes.
But they say we're all these, these last days, all these disasters we never had them before. We've always had disasters. Talk to the dinosaurs. They're like, they say, hey, that was a disaster.
Okay.
Maybe that disaster didn't happen, in your neighborhood.
In our time. Yeah.
In our time, but it happened.
Yeah.
And I guess what I'm saying is this, I love what you said when you said that the youth, we always think of them as the future. But when we think about it, we just look at ourselves, look in the mirror. We were youth at one time.
That's right.
And we're sitting here talking about these issues, caring about these, feeling a responsibility because someone had to have put it into us, had to plant the seed inside of us at an early age.
Very true.
When we were youth. And that's the only reason that you and my goodness, congratulations. I'm hoping that I'm sitting there at 82 years old and happy birthday, and looking as good as you are. And my goodness, I know you shocked the whole audience and the whole world that seeing this as beautiful as you are. And then with the vibrancy and with I still feel my responsibility to do this and being able to, and reaching back and touching those bridges and bringing them forward.
Yes.
One of the things that, in your topic, youth voices and climate change and world issues, voices. If you have those, you set up those things. Now we have podcasts. Now we can give our information in an instant. And we can speak across many platforms every day, all day. And the youth, they're very good with speaking, but if we can help them to not just simply speak, but to direct those voices and let them speak, and like you said, give them that voice into the issues of the day, of what's going on. And I think that would help to direct them, as well as it would even help to direct what's happening, currently and what needs to happen in the future. When I look at a lot of these different things that we have, and the question I have to you is, knowing that these things are going to happen, which we do. We have Bibles, we have the Torah, you got the Buddhism, we got teachings, we got revelations, we got all this stuff to tell us what's going to happen. So why are we not prepared?
Well, I think that's good. Why are we not prepared? And this is where the young people come in. We have to prepare at a young age. My mother prepared me for a lot of things at a young age. We grew up very, very poor. She was a domestic, and she worked very hard to meet our needs, and she poured into us. Now, my mother's theme was always living is giving. So you always give back. No matter how little you have, you give it back. And she tried to, and she did she put things in us that would help us when disasters would strike. If there was a flood or something, this is how you take care of yourself. My mother prepared us for things that are happening really today. I remember she used to say to me before she passed, and my mother passed at 97 about 4 years ago, and she always said to us that you have to be prepared. And that was a Girl Scout model that we had, be prepared. And she said, so no matter what comes, if you don't have, she always said, save something. If it's $5 a week or a month, always save some money. Always be prepared and have something. And she always said, have your own. You know, we need one another, and we need to reach out and have people help us. But she said, try to always have your own. So I try to teach these young people how to prepare for disasters and be prepared for, you know, if there's something that's going to go wrong in your house. These are some of the things that you can do, and make a list of things that you can do if something happens. We used to have flooding all the time in my little town in Indiana. I mean, the water would come up almost to our door. And, you know, we had to have things inside. We had to always have food so that we could survive. Or if our heat would go out, you know, mother always had extra blankets and things. So you have to be prepared, because you never know when it's going to hit home. Sometimes you think, I'm not going to worry about that. That's not going to hit me. People they're panicked and all like that. Well, it's not a matter of being in a panic. It's just a matter of being prepared. And that's what we need to teach our youth today. And even, you know, families, you be prepared for whatever comes. But like you were saying, Yvonne, why aren't we prepared? You know, because people don't think about it. It's no big deal. They don't look ahead. They don't think ahead to the future. And you have to look ahead and say, okay, this is happening today, but in the future, you know, this might happen. So I have to be prepared for that. So I think that's very, very important that we do that. And we're supposed to. We should never have anything that just hits us so suddenly. Like we just had a big snowstorm. I mean, 20 inches of snow, you know, and we heard that it was coming, but sometimes, you know, the weatherman's not always right, but you still get prepared for that. So you stock up on your food, you know, and you hope and pray that your heat's not going to go out. And because my lights used to go out a lot, and my husband, may he rest in peace, I just lost my husband in August to COVID, and he bought a generator. So I'm thanking God for the generator, because the lights did go out in the neighborhood, but I had the generator. So we were prepared for that. So it's, again, all these kind of things that you do to prepare for any kind of flood or disaster or something that might come. We have to be prepared. It's so important.
You are absolutely right about that. And I think that's really what hits us in, you know, when we're talking about climate change, we're addressing those issues. And that is, you know, is that preparation that we can do, that we can have done. And that's, you know, as Betty is telling us, that's not only at the home level, but that also has to be in our businesses. And it has to be in our, you know, in our corporations and in our governance. You know, we have to be prepared for all of these types of things, because what happens is climate change is one of those things that, fortunately and unfortunately, it brings us together. It brings us together as a group setting in mankind, as far as what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, how we're going to live. And so I would ask the question of Betty, as you're giving prominence to youth, what types of ways does enrichment actually help them so that they can enrich our lives, you know, as we go future forward?
Well, what we do at enrichment is a fine arts program. And it has been proven, and statistics show that the arts do change lives. I have watched it with my own eyes of youth that have come in who have not really done well in school. And when in the arts, particularly with the music, you have to learn, you have to know how to read. If you're taking lessons, and all of our young people have to learn how to read music. There's that math piece. So this prepares them for other things. That doesn't mean that all of them are going to become music education majors. However, some of ours have gone on to do that. They might become engineers. I have one that wants to become a neurologist. But enrichment is preparing them with life skills. We have to give our young people life skills so that they can survive wherever. If you have those basic life skills, and no matter where you have them or what they're doing, you give them those things, those life skills to live by. Then that they can make it no matter where they are, or no matter where they start. And I always stress education. Our young people must be educated. That's where you're weeded out a lot of times for a job. No matter how small the job, even, you want to take care of somebody's child, they want to know, can you read, can you write, what kind of grammar you speak, because they don't want those negative things around their children. So it's very important that we stress the education, that they stay in school and that they study. And now, when the pandemic hit, Google started teaching our kids, and they're in front of the iPads and the computers all day, and it's very stressful. We have a lot of our young people that have behavior issues, health issues because of the pandemic. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here because I'm thinking about our young people and things that are happening today that can affect them in the future.